Hello, old soul or old souls. Are you someone that feels like you are out of place, in the wrong time, old fashioned, confused about why society as we see it is gone a little crazy kooky? Um, are you the one person who keeps questioning why we do this and we do that? Do you stand apart? Well, I know it might feel strange and uncomfortable to be one of those people, but the honest truth is the world needs you. It needs people like you and like me who are willing to step out and be questioned, to be the example. Because should be clear to you by now that the world is operating not in the right vibrancy, the right wavelength. There's a lot of good people. There are a lot of people who are hardworking, just trying to make ends meet, and they don't have time to kind of like make sense of all the changes and how distorted television and media is, how far we are from what we would have called normalcy. Now, I'm not on the same wavelength arguing to go back. Um, I think a certain level of progress is a part of it. Like I'm someone that advocates for change, but I think change is fostered by people like us. We are the ones willing to step forward and be counted. We are the ones who are willing to question the status quo. Like I spoke in another video that when we think of making these kind of changes and fixing society, it's kind of been forced into these three aspects: race, sex, gender. And I understand historically how these may have been issues, but I think that the number one thing that has always been an issue is individual freedom, is the ability for each individual person to express themselves with the least interference from government, from religious groups, and from society at large. We can all agree on basic things such as not physically harming, not stealing other people's property, not assaulting people, and I would say their bodies are their properties, right? All those things I think we need to have laws and rules and society's guidance on. But after all of that, like, why are we being bogged down by governmental rules? Why are we being told by religious groups that this is right and this is wrong? Why are we um, being bombarded by all these media and things telling us that we need to think this way? This is the only right way. I think that what you're feeling in your heart is a restlessness. It is a recognition that although things are wrong, they are fixable on an individual level if we all start acting in accordance with our best um, selves, our best purposes. And what I think happens is we are considered oddball and different, but our leadership is of primary importance. What I want and what my desire is that we as a collective group, as we grow and add more people, we can shape society. We can shape it in a way that, not that we're going to impose our will upon it, but we're going to foster an environment where individual freedom can once again be something that is applauded, that is respected, and that if enough people are on board with it, we start saying, hey, why not do it this way? And I know this is a lofty goal for someone on vacation, on location. Once again, you guys can figure out where that is. Um, Rambling on the internet, but I don't think that revolutions, new thoughts, new ways of thinking are born in a boardroom, or they're born at a summit of the G7, or the people who perpetuate the system, whatever the system means to you. Don't come up with new things that upend that system. It starts in the dinner table. It starts at the baseball game. It starts at the local bookstore. It is people like us who stand up and say, "Why are we doing this? This is nonsense. I'm going to do my own thing." And then another person says, "Hey, if he's going to do his own thing, I'm going to do my own thing." And if enough people do their own thing, that's when a revolution starts. And not a revolution of violence. I'm talking that borders, which I believe in and I firmly affirm, are important, but the borders of the mind are something that cannot be taken away by any legislation, any religious dogma, or social programming. It can be altered, it can be affected, it can feel the pressure of it. But even in this, we're all able to be our own individual selves. So, once again, old soul. The reason why you're an old soul is because you are timeless. You have an inner core that has not been affected or corrupted. Well, that has been less corrupted than those around you. And you've begun to ask the question, who, what, where, and why? Why can't we do this? Why is it this way? And it's not a question that starts to go into the irrelevancy of gender and then create like 5,000 genders, or going against biological fact about men and women, or ask you to believe in things that are horrendously like beyond what you can even imagine. And then once you believe that, then you accept every single thing. And I've done this. I've done all of these things. Well, not the gender stuff, but I've done all these things. I've been affected by it. And I'm going through a process. I think I'm a little further ahead than some of you, and maybe a further behind than some of you, of questioning all these things. And one of the things I'm questioning is that although I know this knowledge to be true, I've always said, no one's going to want to hear me talk about this. No one's going to want to hear my opinions on this. And that might be true. But if only one of you starts to question, if only one of you starts it, and maybe you'll be the one that starts this conversation and builds it. I don't care about that. We're not caring about credit. What I want to do is create a society of individual freedom. And you can't make money from that. You can't build a government from that. But what you can do is create a free people. And once you have a free people, everyone else who's not oddball, who's not as strong, who's not able to stand out as we do, gets the benefit. So I am asking for a level of selflessness. I'm asking you to step out of your comfort zone. I'm asking you to be the change that you want to see. And I know you're probably sitting there and wondering, this is very vague. He's not getting into any specifics. Because I could, and I'm actually writing a book that's going to get a little bit more specific, but I've had the situation where I've heard people talking about, be yourself, this is how you have to, and all these different jazz things. You read their book and then it becomes very, very clear that they have a certain agenda, and they have these rules and these specific things that you have to do in order to fit into the paradigm of what they've just said is this new freedom. My only restriction, I'm a very libertarian conservative in this view. My only limitation is that you don't harm other people, you don't affect their property, which is also their person. You do not do anything violent, and you adhere to the laws as they are. We can change the laws in the sense that we protest, but we don't need to do anything extra, because the battle that we're fighting is within ourselves. And once we have that inner strength and that inner knowledge and that inner know-how, I don't think you understand how powerful that bond really is. And I think that the beauty of this channel and the beauty of what I'm trying to get across is, I am not talking to those who are sheep. because the majority of people are sheep. And I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. It's something that it's easier to live that way. And this is going to sound very capitalistic. We need people to be that way, right? I think it's the world's designed. If everyone was leading, then no one's following, and there's no point to having leaders. And I think the best thing we can do, the way to eliminate or reduce sheephood, is for us to become the leaders that, in effect, give people the space to be themselves and lead themselves. Now, these are some heavy concepts. I'm going to try to break it down a little bit over in some couple videos, but I need a little encouragement. I need you guys to like, I need you to subscribe, I need you to comment. Let me know that you're out there and that you are with me in the sense that you want to start this revolution. I'm going to keep doing it, but hey, I'm going to be very real. It is a difficult thing to speak to yourself without anyone there to follow. I'm going to do it, but I want to know that I'm having an impact on you. And I'm sure there's a lot of negative. Keep pushing. Skip it. It's all good. I will survive. But if it resonates, and I've had a bunch of you resonate with me on some of these things, and I see some of you doing some big things. I know at least one of them was doing a bike videos. Other person had, I kind of go on the pages and I kind of look and see, and I see the comments and how you're responding, and it is very encouraging to know that there is a small but growing community of people who have recognized that there is no group that you can depend on. I guess that's the main thing I would say. You cannot depend on these institutions to give you the space to be free. You have to carve that out yourself. And one of the ways that we do that when we don't have institutions is we have examples, people in our lives who are living authentically, that we can say, oh, okay, he's doing it. Not the way I would do it, but his boldness shows me it's possible. So I want people who are willing to show that it is possible. Tell me how you're going to do it. I have an idea, and I'm going to write a book, and I'm in the process of it, and it's going to come out. But it's like a part of me struggles to do that, because anything that I codify loses that individual freedom. So I guess the way I want to do it is creating the framework by which we can be free. Gotta have restrictions. That's the way life is. But I want to maximize that individual freedom and that authenticity, because I believe that within every one of you, there is this magical purpose and gem, this one thing that you are uniquely crafted to do, that if society has its way, you're not going to do it. And this requires an inward look, an outward questioning, and balls of steel. And I know a lot of people are not going to be able to do it. They're not going to even try to understand what I'm saying. And that's okay, because guess what? We lead so those can follow, but sometimes you have to lead even when no one's following. Peace.